Well, hello and welcome to episode one of Live Your Best Laugh. Yay! It's finally here. I am thrilled to be birthing this podcast as it's been something I have talking about and wanting to create for some time. And now it's actually here. I'd love to share with you what led me to this point and how in 2021, age 49, I resigned from my job as a primary school teacher, leaving the world I'd known for 20 years behind and traded marking books for speaking on stages at events and festivals all around the country, culminating in the Festival of Festivals, Glastonbury, in 2024. So, how did I get to this point? So, it goes back to a wellness day that my school was hosting for all the people within the Academy Trust. And I saw one of the offerings and it said laughter yoga. And it really piqued my curiosity. It quite often does that, laughter yoga, because people don't necessarily know what it is. And that was my experience. I thought it sounded a bit of fun, a bit of me, and worth giving a go. So I went along to this session and as part of this wellness day at the school. And I had this like 60-minute workshop. And in that workshop, I literally had the most cathartic and like mind-blowing experience. I felt it in every cell in my body. And I had this real epiphany of this is what I'm here to do now. I had been seeking different kind of things that I could do and to add into my teaching or to do alternatively to teaching all around the wellness field. And this one particularly, it just spoke to my soul. Yeah, it was a proper full body experience. I ended the 60 minutes like absolutely buzzing, giddy with possibility, excitement, just all the things. And within 3 months, I had signed up to do the training to become a laughter yoga leader. So in 2019, there I was, I'd done my laughter yoga leader training. I was really embodying the practice. As soon as I'd qualified, I did 40 days of laughter training back to back to kind of get it in my system. So it's safe to say I'd really fallen in love with it. And yeah, just felt in that session in 2018, I had such a full connection with it that I just knew that I was here to do something big with it, but I had no clue what. I didn't know how. I really didn't know how. And yeah, I kind of danced with this like, oh, how do I follow it? What do I do? Do I leave teaching? It's very safe and secure. And I was really open to leaving teaching, but I wasn't so open to like not having money in my bank account, and it was like, how do I grow this? So I did some community sessions. I did some bits and bobs, and then I went to this like live business event in January 2020, and I'd never been to anything like it before, and it felt quite a big thing for me to do. I was still teaching then. I hadn't resigned from my role yet, and I was surrounded by entrepreneurs, and then there was me, or so I thought. As it turns out, there were of course, like there always is. There's always other people in the same situation as you or similar. So I wasn't the only person in employment, like looking for a way to do things differently. But that event, so it was hosted by Susie Ashworth, who's been a mentor of mine before. And, she hosts incredible in person events. And honestly, it totally blew my mind. And that as well just really activated something in me. And I remember writing in my journal at the event. We had to put down like our big dreams, our big goals, like all the like, really stretchy things. And I was like, what's the stretchiest thing I can do with laughter yoga? What would really be like an incredible thing to have achieved in an amount of time that feels doable and like could make an impact. So I was like, right, okay, I'm going to share laughter yoga at Glastonbury Festival within 5 years. Yeah. Had no idea how, no idea how, but I set the intention. So that was January 2020. And then, of course, right, COVID hit. And, there were lockdowns here, there, and everywhere. Everyone went online. And so wasn't an easy scenario to grow a business. However, I did run a lot of online sessions to support people with their mental health and well-being throughout the pandemic. And that was incredible. It was so needed. And I had some really amazing sessions. So we get to 2021, and I'm like, right, I am nearing 50. I was 49. I was like, if I don't take the plunge, if I don't take the step, then I'm going to be sitting in the staff room at 55, 60, talking about the things I could have done, but actually never having done them. There's so many examples in life, aren't there, where people do that, where they've got this dream, they've got this goal, they've got this ambition, this purpose, this desire, but fear takes over and it doesn't feel safe. So they step back and keep themselves away from like what could have been. And I just knew that that wasn't me. So I resigned and went all in my business. So with that, if I was going to be the kind of person that was going all in with my business and leaving teaching behind, then that kind of person applies to Glastonbury. So I applied to Glastonbury in 2022, didn't get in, was told I was on the reserve list, and then just kind of left it there. But that really kind of whetted my appetite, because I know from sharing laughter yoga, it's like a really key part of my business. I share Reiki as well. I do coaching, but laughter yoga is like it's like it's in me, like it's so embodied. And when I deliver it, it's just like it's magical. So I really kind of started to tune in on where a magical place is to share this incredibly transformational wellness tool where I can impact lots of different people. And because I'd like backed myself and made this big bold move to apply to Glastonbury, and like released the fear, and the fear of like rejection and all the things that can come up when we try and do the thing. I started applying to other events and festivals, and also I set the intention, because what I realized in this, birthing a business, it's not an easy gig. Self-employment is not for the faint-hearted. It is a roller coaster for sure. So there are, some low lows and some really high highs and everything in between, much like life, right? Life, we know, is a roller coaster. So I also set the intention around about that time, um, probably about 2023, actually. I was like, I am going to have fun growing my business. I'm going to let go of things like the money not coming in regularly, or there not being enough money, and all the other shizzle that can go with self-employment. And I am going to have fun growing this business, and I am going to bring it to as many events and festivals as possible. And I'm going to look at it as like networking in a field, and that shift in my mindset, that way of looking at it through a different lens, like was incredible. I set the intention to share laughter yoga, in a couple of festivals and see how it goes. Like 2023, I think I had 4 events and festivals, and I was like, this is amazing. And I had some incredible experiences. Happy Place Festival, Wellbeing by the Lakes, Secret Garden Party was another one. All very, very different. All very, very different festivals, but like a ton of fun and just such amazing feedback and energy. So for 2024, I was like, let's stretch the goalposts, because what I realized in these interactions, and this is what's led me to this podcast, is so many people are not living their lives as optimally as they desire. So many people are like just not experiencing joy on the daily. They are saving it for things like the events, the festivals, the one offs, which I have been facilitating at, which is amazing. It's a great way to like dip your toe in, if you like. It's a great way to learn a new thing. And then what's important is to go away and bring that thing into your life more, or to see how that thing is opening your eyes up to what else is around you. So in my work, I am very intentional about sharing with people. The absolute game changer is when we dial into how we feel in our day through intentional action, such as practicing laughter yoga or practicing gratitude, or like noticing the little things that are all around you, your little pockets of joy. There are so many ways. So, my intention with this podcast is that we don't let life pass us by. We don't like park it and save it for the moments, and these moments are just the joyful ones. It really is about how we get to feel joy even on the tough days. And actually, particularly on the tough days, that's when we need it most. So it became a really big kind of mission to just get myself out there in as many places so as many people could feel it and experience it, and then take it away with them. So if 100 people came to one thing and shared it with another, that's 200 people. If for example, I go into schools. If I've been with 450 children and staff in one day, and they tell one more person and share something with them that they've received from that workshop, that's almost 1,000 people from one day. So that is my real kind of driving force behind why I'm doing this podcast, why I do what I do, and to really highlight that actually, if we just really get intentional with how we want our lives to look and feel, if we choose and if we actively keep choosing, we can shift so much of what's going on for us. And laughter yoga is like just one way that we can do it, but honestly, the mindset piece around it is, it's fundamental, and it's a real game changer to how we show up in the world. So we're almost there. We then got to what, 2023, 2024, loads of gorgeous festivals. 2024 like really kicked off. I was at Mind Body Spirit, London and Birmingham. I was at Wow Fest. I was at Wellnergy, back at Happy Place. Loads of different festivals. I think Om Base, another one. I think it was about like 12, 14, something like that. It was huge, and I was like just so in the energy of this ripple effect of what people would receive from coming to these sessions, and like how we can lift the vibration of the world. But what I wanted us to reflect back on is in 2020, I wrote in my journal that I was going to be sharing laughter yoga at Glastonbury within 5 years. So it actually got to happen last year in 2024. As we record this, it's 2025, it's March. And It happened a year earlier. Did it like fall out the sky and happen just by, chance? No, it didn't. And this is the key thing when we want to activate change and we want to be in charge of like how our lives get to look and feel. It required me to retrain in laughter yoga because I went as part of a team with the incredible laughter yogi that is Joe Hoare. Um, Incredible trainer as well, and he like has a team that he takes to the theatre and circus field in Glastonbury every year, but it's a requirement obviously that you are trained within his training. So I was totally here for that. I hadn't trained since I'd done my first training, which was incredible. That was through an incredible trainer called Adet Kurland, amazing laughter yoga wellness. And it'd been what kind of 5 years. So I was like, yeah, I'll retrain, amazing. And I'll get to go to Glastonbury. Went to Glastonbury, theatre and circus field. It was incredible. And last year, when I sat and reflected on that person who had experienced that workshop in 2018 and then decided to do this training in 2019 and then taken the leap out of teaching at 2021, you know, like I I was a million miles away from who she was. The life experiences and the work I'd done on myself from that moment to this moment was absolutely huge. And this is the thing, if we want to like create impact, if we want to change what's going on for us in our lives, if we want to change the course of our direction, we have to back ourselves. We have to take the leap. And we have to be prepared for it to look like in any different way that it comes to us, because what we don't know is we don't know the steps and we don't know what it's going to look like. We just have to tune in to trust. And that's what I did with Bells On. And a really interesting thing happened this week. In fact, last week it was. Like I was over the moon to be part of Team Joe going to Glastonbury last year, literally over the moon. And with all the other events and experiences I'd had the opportunity at, it was a sublime year for me in terms of how many lives I got to touch with laughter yoga. And yeah, and it continues this year. I've got some incredible opportunities coming up this year. So check out the links in the show notes and see which ones are appealing to you and come and join us, because like the live experience of live laughter yoga, like it's out of this world. It literally is out of this world. But this really, really incredible thing happened last week. So I received an email last week, literally just fell in my inbox, inviting me to come and do laughter yoga in the healing field at Glastonbury. Now, when I wrote down my intention in 2020, that's what I pictured. I pictured healing field and me doing laughter yoga on my own. So last year was incredible. It wasn't what I visualized. Yeah. And then when I was at Glastonbury, I just really felt into, and I set the intention that the healing field would come to me at some point. I was going to end up being the custodian. And they asked me to get an application in, and literally in less than 24 hours. And the fact that this confirmation came through on the 30th anniversary of laughter yoga feels like no coincidence at all to me. In my inbox, congratulations, you're going to be hosting laughter yoga workshops in the healing field at Glastonbury in 2025. And I was like, oh my god, like this is huge. And this is all part of the mission and the vision. And actually, that is the picture I had in 2020. and it gets to happen in 2025. And I'd almost kind of disregarded that application that I put in 3 years before, but they'd remembered me. And they said they were so glad they'd remembered me. And I'm like, fuck, yeah, me too, amazing. And so this is the important thing to take away from what I'm sharing. We plant seeds all the time, but we never know when they're going to bloom. But if we keep taking the steps and if we keep taking the action, then like they will bloom at some point. We just don't know in what iteration. They bloomed last year going to the theatre and circus field. They're blooming like a whole blooming field this year by getting the healing field at Glastonbury. Like, my goodness me. But those seeds were set in 2020, and then the action was taken in 2022. But there was so much action that has taken place along the way. Me putting myself forward to festivals that maybe I didn't feel quite ready for, that felt quite a stretch for me, with big audiences of like hundreds of people. But what I know with my vision, with my mission, is like, if I am here for global joy, then I get to make these big, bold moves. And if it doesn't work out, then that's okay, because maybe something else is going to work out, but it doesn't ever mean anything about my worth. And much like starting this podcast, I have been talking about it. So I've been seed planting, I've been talking to people, I've been researching it, but been putting it off to find the right time. And I was like, you know, there's so often never a right time, isn't there? There's so often never a right time for us. So sometimes we just have to just get in the freaking arena and just say, okay, even though I feel super busy and maybe like a bit time pushed, I'm just ready. I'm just freaking ready. And this is the essence of this podcast, because my intention really is like, let's freaking live now. Let's not wait for joy. Let's not wait for the moments. Let's not park things for special occasions. Let's freaking own it now. Let's choose ourselves every single day. Let's dive in, even when the really shit stuff happens. Let's really choose to be here right now, like enjoying every single day. I often say, enjoy the 365. It's not about the 2 weeks in, Spain or Greece or France or whatever in the holidays. Like, it is about 365 living. How do we get to do that? Well, in this podcast, my desire is we like dive deep on that and have rich, honest conversations about how we get to bring pockets of joy into our day. And I've got a really incredible lineup of people who are going to be sharing their experiences. And along the way, I will share my teachings and my experiences with you too, because, all we know we have is now, right here, right now, in this moment. And it's so, so important that, we absolutely make the most of our dance here on this beautiful planet. So, my darling ones, it has been an absolute pleasure to share some of my journey with you, so you can get a feel for what's brought me to where I am right here, right now. Of course, there are always many pieces to the puzzle. This is like a little bit, but it's a key bit, right? Because you get a feel of like why I'm here and why I'm showing up in this way right here, right now. I will be sharing more all through the different episodes. And as I said, along with some absolutely incredible guests with their stories. Yeah, they've been amazing to listen to so far. So stay tuned, lovely one. There's so much more to come as you get ready to live your best laugh.